So in this part, my dear students, we are going to study about the different parts of the eye. Before that, let me tell you one secret. Do you know what is the megapixel of our eye? We run for cameras having 12 megapixel. We run for cameras having 10 megapixel. The megapixel of your eye is 576. Imagine, 576. So clearly you are seeing things, right? So how does these things work? Is it only the lens which works in our eyes? No, there are many parts which works together and help us to see things around us. So what are those things? So if you can see on an image on the screen, the whole parts of the eye is been labeled to you. Now I will tell you one by one what are those parts. Now first is sclera. It is the white portion of the eye which protects the eyeball, right? Next part is cornea. Cornea is the outer layer of the eye which enables the light to enter through it, right? Number 3, you will see aqueous humor. Aqueous humor is something which provides nourishment to the eyes. More is the aqueous humor in the eye will be healthy, I can say. If less aqueous humor is there, eye will be little dizzy, you will feel pain in your eye, right? Next is vitreous humor. It is present in between the eye lens and the retina. It's somewhat like gelatinous substance or like jelly. So it is also present in between the eye lens and the retina, which I told you already. So the next part of the eye is iris and pupil. Iris is actually the colored portion of your eye, if you can see in the mirror. Okay, it is a dark muscular diaphragm which controls the pupil, right? So the amount of light enters through our eyes, it is being controlled by the pupil, and pupil is being controlled by the iris. So if the light is too bright, the pupil contracts, so that less amount of light enters in our eye, otherwise the screen might damage, that is your retina. Fine. So it actually controls the amount of light enters in our eye. Okay. It also helps us to focus the object very nicely. Okay, that is your iris and pupil. So this two goes together. Pupil is been controlled by the iris, and pupil it controls the amount of light which enters in our eyes. So I hope this is clear to you. Next is eye lens. There is a lens which is present in every one of us, right? And the lens which is used out here is the natural lens, that is known as convex lens. Okay, it converges the image and form the image in the retina, right? So what happens? It's flexible lens. Depending upon where the object is, the lens changes its focal length. Okay. This is also called as crystalline lens. What lens? Crystalline lens. It is being controlled by ciliary muscle. Just above these two lens, if you can see on the screen, above the lens there will be two portion, the aperture part, where it will be controlled by ciliary muscles. It actually holds the lens. It will be the lens will be holded by ciliary muscle, and depending upon where the object is, the radius of curvature of the lens will change. So imagine your lens is so flexible. Okay. So ciliary muscle controls the lens. Now we will see the next part. Now we have retina. This is a screen where the image is formed. So what is there on the screen actually? It is actually at the back of your eye. At the back of your eye you have rods and cones. These are called as photoreceptors. It receives the image, forms the image on the screen, that is on the retina, and sends the signal through optical nerve to the brain, and brain receives it. Suppose you are seeing a tree. The tree will be collected by rods and cones of the that is photoreceptor only at the retina. It will send signal through the optical nerve to the brain, and brain will say that yes, you are seeing a tree. Fine. The image which is formed by the lens on the retina will be real and inverted, as we have seen already. We know convex lens forms real and inverted image. The only position where it will form a virtual image when the object is kept in between focus and optical center of the lens. So, how these images are being seen by you, it's actually virtual. Okay, this is, I'll tell you later. Now, let us go to the next part. Now, we will see cones and rods. What does it say? Actually, rod determines the intensity of light, how much brightness and darkness the image will form, and cones determines the color of the object. Okay, it will see what color is your object. Are you seeing it green or you are seeing it yellow? Depends on it. Okay. Now, blind spot, there is another part. What is this blind spot? It is that point where the optical nerve leaves that part. There is no optical nerve present there. It is at that spot where there are no rods and cones, there are no photodetectors. So, light if comes and converges through the convex lens to the blind spot, you are not going to see an image. Why? Because since there is no presence of optical nerve at that point, it will not send any signal to the brain. So, image will not be seen by you. Fine. So, optical nerve, you can easily understand what does it do. It actually sends signal to the brain, where from the retina, from rods and cones. So, these are the various parts of the eyes which we have seen just now. So, please see each one of them nicely, study it nicely one by one, it is going to help you.